we go back in time, the first actual Mario movie, the first actual one, wasn't that 1993 one, that joint that even though me and you both loved, we both liked it, everyone else hated it. But it wasn't that live action joint. It was actually an anime movie, like from way back in the day. I don't think you watched it, right? I didn't watch it.
No, I haven't watched it. No.
Yeah, I want to watch it one day, but not a priority. I still got to play Tears of the Kingdom. So, but then you got like,
what about it?
You got other Nintendo's obviously made other attempts at anime, like they've done like remember Kirby Right Back at You, and
Sonic. Well, Sonic X actually not Nintendo.
Not Nintendo, but the F-Zero of all properties ended up getting an
got
anime.
a TV show.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say that, like, no matter what, they're obviously, or at least hopefully, going to attempt The Legend of Zelda at one point, whether it's in a movie or, I personally think it should be a TV show. But I wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on how they should adapt it, because I was thinking that this is the perfect opportunity for them to finally get into the realm of anime again. And now that you have the world of Breath of the Wild is now probably the most lore heavy when it comes to all of the other like Legend of Zelda projects. Like you got Breath of the Wild, which honestly, that alone, an entire season already right there, 24 episodes, probably not even enough, to be honest with you. You can do an entire season, and that joint only finishes at just like getting the first beast, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so much stuff that you can do there. But then you got the Age of Calamity game, like which, even though I know it's not canon, you can make that canon. It's not that hard.
It's a story for sure.
It's a story for sure. Prequel, I'm sure majority of it is canon, just like at the end of it, not really. But like even that, you can kind of like put some little bit of lore there too. Like it was obviously a game that they really wanted to capitalize on the Breath of the Wild hype, and they decided to make a game about it. And then now you have Tears of the Kingdom, which, if that dude who played 82 hours of the game and said that there's still more to do, if he's right, then that means that we got a lot. A lot to cover. I think it's obvious that Nintendo really wants to capitalize on the Breath of the Wild hype and like that world, and I think it makes sense for them to adapt it. But how do you think it should potentially be adapted? I think the best way to do it is this, but
my whole thing is, I don't think you do it. I've always been in the mindset, I guess, of Zelda should not be a TV show or movie, because if anything, a movie maybe more, but still, I don't like the idea, because I personally always think that a main character is insanely important for anything media related to TV or movie. Zelda doesn't have a good main character that like at all, which is why the Twilight Princess manga has to give Link a personality.
I was going to mention the Twilight Princess manga. Yeah.
They had to like invent a Link, essentially. Like, they had to like invent the personality. And because the manga is the manga and Nintendo doesn't really acknowledge it, it's kind of like on the shelf in the background. But if there's a major TV show or movie done, like on the level of Super Mario, then you're going to have to give this Link a personality. And that kind of clashes with what happens in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And I feel like it's kind of cringy. And if you don't give him a personality and it's just a mute guy, you have to have someone always near him talking for him or
like
around
what
him.
Zelda does in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but constantly. Because we're not playing a game, we're watching something now. And that's just, it can't be done. I feel like, to me, the only way you do it is give him a strong personality, and that ruins the game. So I don't think it's a good idea at all to do that. Do you think it's possible?
One, I think anything is possible in this world.
Hey, let me make myself straight real quick. No. Anything's fucking possible.
I know that came across as kind of a joke, but I actually do mean that if you just have the right creative team, literally anything can be done. You can do like a live action My Hero Academia movie, and it'd be freaking phenomenal with the right creative people. To be honest,
throw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, but swallow it. So. No, but like anything is possible when you have the right people with the right vision behind it. I do solemnly believe that. Like, the Speed Racer movie shouldn't have been good, but the right people were behind it and somehow ended up being like half bad. Yeah. So like I think that there are definitely ways to get around this, and there have been definitely movies in the past where like you're not watching it for the hero type or like the protagonist really. I think there are ways to kind of go about this, but I also kind of do think that maybe it's just my bias for the this anime as a whole, but I do think that it's probably like the easiest way to kind of go about this. Like, for some reason, I can watch an anime. I can see myself watching an anime where the main character doesn't talk. I don't know why, but I can see that happening. Like, and it's just more so how he interacts with the
Not
world.
even talk, like just emotional, like expression stuff like that's important. I feel like Link's not gonna have that.
Link does express facially,
But it's like
yeah.
It's not like the what's the name of the guy in Rankings of Kings?
Boji.
It's not like Boji was like, it's actually like, you know, an interesting character who, like, even though he's mute, is like
thank you for reminding me of Ranking of Kings. That's an entire season, 24 episodes where we had a guy who doesn't talk.
Yeah, but he actually like has a personality. Like he's like like he's like trying to like express things and like do stuff. Yeah. Link wouldn't do that. Link would be like,
And to be fair, I'm an idiot because Ranking of Kings did have Kage, who did talk on behalf of.
Also that too,
Boji.
yeah.
So
which worked, I guess. Like
it works because it focused so much on their friendship. Like like you can tell that like, and they also gave it a reason why he couldn't speak. It's not like Boji just chose not to talk. He literally couldn't talk. But like like Link is choosing not to talk.
Like Link, please say something.
Yeah. So the only thing I can honestly think of, and this is like my like the way that I would probably approach this if I was like a creative person like making a Zelda movie or Zelda anime or whatever. And I do think the best way to approach this is a show. There's so much happening in Zelda that's happening in one movie. Crazy.
Yeah.
But I think you just gotta do something like the Knights of Hyrule took a solemn oath not to talk.
Like, not the champions, the knights in general.
There's knights, yeah. Like, whoever like signs up to be a Knight of Hyrule, you just can't speak. Like, you're there to serve Zelda, and like that's it. I'm not saying it's the best way, but like that's a way. So that way he doesn't do anything, and then he just at the very end of the movie
says something.
Says something. Zelda, and then you're like, "Fuck!" He talked.
No, the one diehard fan gets up. That's not lore accurate. He wouldn't say Zelda. He wouldn't. No.
This is some bullshit, man. I can't believe it, man.
He's just pissing and shitting himself. No, you were so close. That's a creative way of doing it. It still makes me cringe a little because I need Link to have a personality, which is why I like the Twilight Princess manga, because it just feels like I'm following like a cool version of Link. And if he doesn't have that, like. The story for me, because characters are very important to me in any story, personally, selfishly and personally for me. So we need to make Zelda strong as fuck, Ganondorf strong as fuck. The champions have to be even more involved. Like, it has to be a lot of effort from everyone else, because Link can only do so much if he's not speaking because of the solemn oath.
Yeah.
Maybe it is possible, like you said, but it's so hard to execute, and that's why I don't feel confident about it. It's a big barrier.
That's why I reiterate, I do think that a TV show is the best way to adapt Zelda, just because it feels very episodic. Like, once he goes to Kakariko Village, there's so much to do there that could be an episode. Going to Death Mountain, already so much there. To fit that all in one movie is insane. Yeah. But I do think that probably adapting Breath of the Wild just makes the most sense to me, because you have the most amount of characters there that talk naturally already.
That, and also it's just better for sales. Honestly,
exactly.
Making an Ocarina of Time movie, it wouldn't have as many people as if you made it out Breath of the Wild.
Sadly.
Yeah, sucks, but it's the truth.
It's the truth. Yeah, I think it just makes a lot of sense now, and like the only thing that I would probably do differently is like, if you're going to adapt the Zelda story, no matter what story it is, I think if you're going to stick with him not talking, you gotta include Navi then. You just gotta include like a fairy.
When you mentioned Boji's companion,
Kage.
God damn, you remember all the characters. Kage.
I only remember those two, by the way. I don't remember every character.
Glad you only stopped me at two. When you brought up Kage, I thought of Navi also, but like Navi translating everything it doesn't hit quite as hard. At least maybe they could do it. Maybe they flip it, because Ocarina of Time, like it was supposed to feel like at least I think they tried to. It's supposed to feel like Navi and Link got close in Ocarina of Time, but
Oh,
no
I
one who
never
played
felt
Ocarina of
that.
Time felt that way. But that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe they became like the closest of homies. But I never felt that way.
No,
so
not
the TV
once.
show has to really convince me of that, you know?
Yeah. I also assume that if they're gonna do something like with Zelda, I think they're gonna like probably make it like a gang of characters. Probably like it's not just Zelda, like Link alone. He has to like I don't know. Everywhere he goes, he gets like a new buddy or something. Like I don't know.
Party system.
I only feel like that's how they would approach it. Like you got to give him a cast of characters. You can't just be whoever is voicing Navi would have to get the bag, bro.
So much.
That's the main
bro.
character of the movie, honestly. Like in terms of how much they're gonna be talking. So
Navi just saves the day at the end.
yeah. So it would have to just be, I guess, Breath of the Wild, the movie, plus Navi.
For sure, like that's definitely like what you said. Breath of the Wild is definitely the place to start. I don't think you can start with Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess. It's definitely that one. It's just figuring out the kinks around Link is definitely the hardest part. Everything else is there. Literally everything else is there. My only concern is literally just the fucking main character.
I know.
That's the hardest part about it. Anyway, we're starting production tomorrow.
How do you want to see it animated? Like, do you want to see it like Illumination?
It can't be Super Mario animation. I don't want the Illumination guys making that. I would want like a cyberpunk animation studio.
Oh my god!
Right?
I would have just, if I'm Nintendo, I would just give Studio Ghibli all the fucking money in the universe just to make the movie, bro.
Fuck it, give it to Mappa.
No.
Give it a Mappa. They already got 5,000 animes already. Might as well add one more.
Jesus. Or who are the dudes that make Your Name?
I just thought of Ufotable.
Yo, I mean, Ufotable could
also definitely do it. Who made Your Name? Oh, Comics Wave.
They would kill. They'd kill.
Oh yeah. But I don't want it also to have like a Studio Ghibli light feel. It's gotta have some edge to it. Breath of the Wild is not, all happy sunshine and rainbows all the time, So it's gotta get some edge to it.
Yeah,
for
which
sure.
is why I'd probably go with that instead. It's a different studio. I think the thing that you really gotta convey is that like I'm in love. Whenever I play a new Zelda game, one of the things that I always fall in love with is how Hyrule will be. Because Hyrule at this point always feels like a character in a way. With how like Hyrule always evolves in these games, it's always different. Like what the environment in these games, like the environment of each Zelda game is like, I'm trying to say is like feels like a character in that sense. Like it's so it's so expressive and so much like there's so much there, and the reason why you care about like going back in time and like Ocarina of Time, going forward and seeing how destructive like everything
what's changed
is because you see that like, you've seen literally the growth and the growth of Hyrule. It feels like a character in that sense, and I do think putting a lot of emphasis towards like the environment of whatever Zelda movie or show, whatever you end up doing, like is such a big deal.
For sure. I definitely do think that's what Breath of the Wild, and probably if I had to guess, Ocarina of Time has going for it. If they had to animate it, the environment is really strong in both of those. But like I said, Breath of the Wild is definitely going to be the one they take if they had to choose.
Has to be. We already got 3 games in this series, and I will bet money that then they're gonna give us something else in this universe.
I think they're done with this universe, honestly. But like we'll see what happens at the end of the story. But I think the story will end with not much more in this universe. I think they're gonna have to like just make a new stepping stone in the franchise.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the issues, and when you have so many games in this one specific universe, I think you're just kind of setting the status quo for people to be like. So
then when you change it, what happens? And do fans like it or hate it?
Yeah, because now people are just like, oh, this is Zelda, Breath of the Wild. This is what Zelda is. So you had 2 games back to
Zelda
back.
Go-Kart Racing. That'd be crazy if they're like, fuck it. We got the bag. Let's just let's start fucking with the IP.
And it's lore heavy.
It's actually the most heavy lore in any Zelda game.